इससे कम तो काम करना चाहिए। लेट्स सी। ओके, इंटरफेस का रखते हैं, इसके बाद अगर वो काम कर रहा है तो फिर मैं वो सर्वर ले लूँगा रिमोट पे। उसके पहले व्हाट वी वांट टू सी इज archive management. Okay, so जैसे कि हमने देखा था कि ट्यूनिंग पैरामीटर्स, राइट, जहाँ पे डिटेल रहती है आपके कॉन्फ़िगरेशन रिलेटेड। इसमें से सारी डिटेल आपको समझना ज़रूरी नहीं है, क्योंकि बहुत सारे इंटरनल डिटेल्स रहते हैं। लेकिन मेनली आपका जो आर्काइव है, बैकअप है, उसके रिलेटेड आपको डिटेल जानना ज़रूरी है। जैसे कि आप यहाँ पे देख पा रहे हो, आपका यहाँ पे ऑटो आर्काइव फाइल एक्सटेंशन जो है वो आपका रहेगा .arc। ठीक है। उसके बाद दूसरा जो है सबसे मेन कि आपका ऑटो आर्काइविंग फाइल रूट जो है वो ये है। अभी व्हाट इज मीन बाय ऑटो आर्काइव? क्या होता है कि आप जब इंस्टॉलेशन करते हो तो आपने वहाँ पे नोटिस नहीं किया होगा, लेकिन एक जगह पे ऑटो आर्काइविंग इनेबल या डिसेबल रखने के लिए एक ऑप्शन रहता है, वेयर यू कैन confirm that you want to create new archive automatically or not. Okay, so if you don't enable the auto archiving, in that case what will happen? So there was two different scenarios. So earlier what I used to do is, if auto archiving is not enabled, system used to uh, write in the same archive, like overwrite in the same archive file. Okay, but now what it does is it will hold with the new updates and all. Uh, but that update came uh, like 8-10 years back, so that is not that new. But I was talking about the very old thing. So but nowadays what it does, it will not create new archive, but again what it will do, it will just hold all your data in the event queue, right? So it will not send that data into the archive because your archive is full. So to make sure your archive is enabled, you can check here like auto archiving file, like here auto archive file format and auto archive file root. So if the root is mentioned here, if the root is not mentioned here, that means your auto archiving is not enabled simply. So if the root is mentioned, so in this case, your auto archiving is enabled, and whenever the primary archive will full around 96 to 98%, it will automatically switch to the new archive. It will create a new archive file. Similar way, there is a again another. So it will not only show you the auto archiving, means it is indirectly the location of your archives. So all your archives will be here, but you can change this and you can keep archive at separate places. But whenever a new archive will be created, it will create at this location. And similar way for the future archive. So you can see here the future archives will be created at this location. Okay. So this way, and again, so you will be able to see the archive sizing like this. So this is our maximum archive size. We have kept it at 2 GB, right? So this will be our maximum archive size and all. And okay, that's fine. That's fine. So most of other things will not be that necessary. But yeah, you can just check it. Similar way, the backup. Okay, so backup history, like what is the maximum history and all to be kept and all. So everything will be here. But again, the major part, what you really need to understand is the archiving part. So you need to keep track of this thing, because sometime what happened, though you like I will tell you how it works actually. So suppose initially what you did, you have installed your PyData archive, and initially as we have here, we only have two drives. Okay, C entry. Like here we only have two drives. Initially, suppose we only have one drive and we have installed everything on C, like we did it now. In that case, our archives will be in C drive only, right? So if you see here, uh, in this, it should be here, but now it will be here somewhere. Uh, your archive will be in C drive only. Uh, but where it's supposed to be, it is supposed to be on a different drive. So I will also take another server of my client to show you. We need token. So this is again Canada client AVTB, and you can see how we have prepared the partition. So suppose initially you don't have space in your server, like the bigger server where you are creating the Pi server and you only have C drive. And later on you add the disk and you do the partition like this. It doesn't matter the sequence. You can keep sequence whatever you want, but we will need one drive for archive, one drive for root where all the installation will be done. C drive will only be for the Windows related installation and files. Uh, Event queue will be separate, like you can see only 20 GB we have given for the event queue. It is in the case of if something happened to the archive subsystem or something happened to the archive. Sometimes what happens, archive got corrupted. So in that case, uh, suppose you didn't realize it quickly. So in that case, you need to save your data somewhere. Like before going to archive, your data will be in event queue. So it will reside in this particular drive, and then there will be backup. So I have kept backup and archive drive similar, 1 TB, 1 TB, and you can see almost like archive size and backup size is almost same. There might be some difference, like I have removed some of the files. Sorry, I have added some of the files like my installation or some backup files in backup folder. That is the reason. Otherwise, you can see 500 GB is used here and around 560 GB is used here. So now, suppose in our case, we only have installation at one place and all the by mistake we forgot to mention the archive file path specifically to be shifted on the D drive. No need to worry, we can just change that later on. Okay. And I really hate this thing because now I will not be able to see my. I need to stop sharing and start again. Okay. So it actually hides the taskbar. So in our case, suppose by mistake we kept everything on C drive and we wanted to shift the drive of our like archive, right? But the case is you cannot shift the archive if it is in use. Okay. So in this case, you may need to uh, stop your archive subsystem and move this to like this file, this particular file or folder, which we have in C drive, this pi. You may need to shift this pi and this specifically this archive folder. So you need to shift this archive folder on D drive or any other drive for the archive. And for that, what you need to do, you need to either stop the archive subsystem or you cannot, like if you don't stop the archive subsystem, you will not be able to unregister. So there will be an option for unregister, but because this is a primary archive, it will not allow you to unregister because this is a primary archive. Okay, so I will show you how to unregister it if you want to move. So before that, because this is a primary archive, either I need to stop the archive subsystem or I need to stop the Pi server entirely, like all the services. But I would prefer stopping the archive subsystem. So I will stop it. Now it is stopped. So I will refresh. Now I can't see the archive here. Okay. And like what I will do, I will just move this folder. So I will copy paste it first. Okay, so we have copied it here and we will just simply rename this folder because it should not find that folder here. Okay, and now I will try to. Now we don't have option to register the archive, right? So I will start the archive subsystem. And as you can see here, though we have started the archive subsystem, we can't see any archive here. Okay, so there are two ways by which we can register the archive. If you shift the primary archive, in that case, there will be a problem and you will not be able to use this register an archive option. So to do this, you at least need a primary archive here. If you don't have a primary archive, then what we will be doing, we will be opening the command prompt as an administrator and cd %pi server %udm. Okay, and we will run a command called pi ar tool. Okay, so when we will run a command to register a primary archive, look, register an archive file. So you will be using pi ar tool -ar command, and then you will be giving the path for that particular archive. So suppose we run ar and again -ar and again click enter. So it will ask missing argument. So file path is not provided. So what we will do again, the file path we will copy from here, from the new location. Okay, so we will copy this path and we will simply paste this path here and enter. So 0 archive files successfully registered. So that means it is not actually taking the archive. So we need to check why it is not taking the archive. Because if it is a primary archive, it will not allow you to register primary archive using this command. So let me try once again, because sometimes it allows. Okay, no problem. So in this case, you may use PyDiag. Okay. So in PyDiag also you will be able to register the archive. So again, there will be an option to register archive. So recover the archive management file, dump. So PyDiag.ar and path. So we will see. Okay, we will use this PyDiag-ar and path. Let's try to do this. Error opening the file, access denied. Okay, so our main problem is the access is not there for that particular folder. So you may need to provide the access to that folder, because this is a VM and that is a temporary drive. So that could be the issue. So what we will do, we will just rename our old folder here. Now I will show you in a different way. And I will simply restart the PyArchive subsystem. So these kind of issues are not like fixed. You will find these issues all the time. It's totally because of some different configuration. You can see our file is back. So now what I will do, if like, because the folder is not accessible, what I will do here, I will do it manually. So in this case, what you can do, if you want to shift your archives, right? If you want to shift your archives from one location to another, and in that case, you know the exact location where you want to shift your archives. What you need to do is, we have the path, right? We have this path where we want to shift the archive, and in this case we will just delete this, because we are not able to register those archives here. But we have the path of the folder, right? So we will copy that path again, and we will make the changes in our tuning parameters. Okay, so I will go to the archive. This will be our tuning parameter and our root. So this will be our root, right? C. So instead of C, I will paste our new location and I will apply the change and OK. So now my auto archive file root is changed to D. Okay, and we'll do same with the future archive also. Okay, and apply. Okay. So now what you can do, now you will be able to auto create the archive on that location. But now because our archive is not getting full, it will take forever to auto create our new archive. So we can force shift the archive. So we can forcefully create a new archive. So there is an option called force an archive shift. Okay, you can do it from here or you can just do it from here, force shift. But yeah, you can just force shift the archive. So when I will create, you can see the archive file location here, right? See program files by arc and all. So when we will force shift the archive, it will ask you, are you sure you want to force shift the archive? You will say yes. And when you will say yes, you will see auto archive file archive. Okay, so it is doing it. It is forcefully creating a new primary archive. Okay, as you can see, this is because this is a primary archive, it has no end time. It only has the start time. Now it has shifted. Now that primary archive has become like the second archive and it has received the end time just now. I don't know, again, like this server is giving me problem with the timestamp, but yeah, it is the UTC time right now, the exact time in UK. Okay, so but your archive has force shifted and now this is your new archive and you can see your new archive is created inside the D drive. So we can go there and we can see this is your new primary archive with the date. Okay, today's date. So now only new archive is there and suppose my old 810 archives are still located inside the old folder. So in that case, what I need to do, I will click on this archive and then now because this is primary archive, you will not find this option enable and register the selected archive. But for all other archives, you will be able to unregister that archive. Okay, so I will just click on unregister the archive. Yes, and now if I refresh, I will not be seeing that archive in this list. So though the file is there in the C drive, the file is here in the C drive. What we can do, we can just copy these files. We need both the archive and annotation files. We will just copy these files. We will paste these files here. Okay. And now you can manually register the archive from here. You can go select register the archive. It will take you to the current archive folder, which is D drive. You can select that archive, which was the older. So on the 5th of December, you can select and you can click open. Okay. So, okay, I will do it again. No problem. So now your archive is registered and the archive file path is new path now. Okay. So suppose now I will just unregister this again. We'll click refresh and we will give the PyAR tool one more chance. Okay. So CD PyAR tool dash AR and our folder path. And I think last time I made a slight mistake. Okay, I will tell you what slight mistake I made, but I will show you this again. Zero archive registered. Okay, here I made one mistake that I didn't specify the extension. Okay, now all the files with the .arc extension will get registered. Look, now you can see these two archive got registered automatically. Okay, using this command ar2-ar, the path. So second command is write the path and then star. Star means any file name with
File name
the
.arc.
ARC extension. Okay, so suppose you are explicitly you want to map or you want to register any file explicitly, so you can give full name, full path, including the name. Okay, so because we have registered it again, we will refresh it, and here we go. Our file got registered. Okay, so this way you can shift your archive. So suppose now your server is getting filled and you have last 8, 10, 12 years of data in your server. So it will look something like this. It will look something like this. Yeah. So as I have shown you last time, they have 1036 archives. They were having 1036 archives, right? Last time. Now it may have increased by 2 or 3. So it was like maybe 68 something. So now it is 73, 1073. So there are 1073 files. And you can see here the very first archive has created on 2014 September somewhere. Okay, and you will see there is a start time and end time, and you can see here earlier the archive was filling every 97 days, then it reduced to 33 days because the new tag has been configured at this time. Then the second like days got reduced because there was more and more data coming because new tag was getting added and all. So you can see these are 2014 data. This is 2015. This is 2016. So now you need to decide how much data or how old data you want to be online all the time for use. So you really don't want to see 10-year-old data, right? That is of no use for you. That will be of use only if your team will be doing some fancy analysis kind of thing, right? So then and then only you can re-register those archive and the data will be available. So suppose if you go and you unregister the archive from here to bottom, whatever number of archive you want to unregister, you can select and you can just click on unregister the archive, and those archive will not show here. But there is of no point if you only unregister it and you don't move it actually from the hard drive, right? Those archives will still be here in your hard drive, right? So as you can see, there is a 2014 like 2 archives for 2014 with the annotation file, then 2015 and all. So because you want to reduce the disk space like consumption, you can just unregister this archive, and you can copy those archive on a external hard drive like portable hard drive or your backup server or anywhere, wherever you want. And as it is needed, so not necessary you need to, suppose you want to see the 2014 data, not necessary you also need to register 2015 archive. So if you want to see 2014 data, you can only register 2014 archive. Okay. But one more thing, if you remove these archives, in that case, you will only be able to backfill up to the time the archives are available. So I will tell you how it works, right? As I said, around 98% your archive got shifted. So this archive must be force shifted. Okay, so it has force shifted on 59%. On 98% around your archive got shifted. So whatever is the time range for this archive, if you send data with that timestamp, it will go in this archive only. So any timestamp between this and the start time and end time, the data will go into this archive only. So if you will try to backfill the data, so backfill is not only the recalculation of your PI analysis. Sometimes we get old data available in any other system in Excel or any old database where you have captured your process data and all. We can always backfill that data into the PI server. So if you backfill for a certain time, you need to make sure the like archive for that particular time period is always available. And one more thing, so suppose let's go back to our server because I don't want to mess on the actual production server. Suppose we have archive from 2023, right? But you want to backfill data for 2022, right? So in that case, what you need to do is you can create new archive. Okay. So whatever is the file path and all, create archive with the fixed start and end date. Okay. So there will be fixed start and end date here. So you can just give the time period for that archive. So you can create a single archive or you can create a multiple archives for backfilling. Okay. So you can select anything. And then you can specify the time range. So
but how will it get the data? Like even if I create a new archive, how will it backfill the data? Like from which file and how?
Yeah. So that is what I'm saying. If you want to backfill the data, there is a separate mechanism of backfilling, and it is not a simple like you are doing the backfilling and all, running a single command and all. There is a whole sort of things you need to do before backfilling the data. Okay, you need to create a proper Excel file, or you need to write a proper SQL code, or you need to write a proper PySDK, PyAPI code to push the data inside the Pi system. So it is not just you can just run a simple command and upload the data. It is not. It don't work that way. Okay, but I will show you one example by manually putting one value. Just to my spec. Just a minute. So
ये जो आर्काइव होता है इसमें मान के चलिए मेरा जैसे लाइक यू हैव शोन कि 2014 तक का डेटा है, तो जब हम बैकअप लेंगे तो वो आर्काइव पूरा 2014 ना, पूरा स्टार्टिंग टू 20 जितना मेरा आर्काइव में
it's totally depend on you how much backup you want to take. I will also show you that thing. Okay.
Okay.
So it is suggested you should take entire backup, but you can also skip that if you only want to take the backup for certain time period. You just need to mention the number of archives to be backed up. Like if you use backup command. Okay. If you can see here, this is cutoff date. Either you can mention like py backup, then path. So where you want to take the backup, then number of archives. This is number of archives. So it will backup number of archives backward from the latest. So it will take latest and then backward. It will take that that many number of archive as a backup wherever you will specify the path. Okay. So this is
तो
manual
वो
backup.
एज अ
I'm
काउंट
talking
देना है
about.
उसको, नंबर ऑफ आर्काइव इज द नंबर ऑफ इज द काउंट.
Right, number of count. So this is for the manual backup. This is not for the automated backup. Okay. When you will do the automated backup, your automated backup will work. Wait, I will just come back on that point. I will just finish this first. Okay. So maximum archive duration you can mention here. Thinking about, okay, how much time it will take if I will put XYZ number of data. So how much time it will take to fill. So this is maximum duration of the archive. So I will just put anything. So one archive each month kind of thing. The start time I will specify as 2022 January 1st. Okay. And end time will be okay. Fine. This will be my end time and I will click. So suppose I will show you one more thing. End time I will just take for 3rd and I will say okay. There will be existing archive being less than 1 week. After that last archive being created will there is an existing archive that begins less than 1 week after. Okay, yeah. Would you like to extend the last archive to the cover time? Actually, I intentionally created a short archive. Intentionally not created it till this because I want to show you one more thing. Okay, but you should click yes. So what it will do, it will exactly match the start date of the new archive. So the end date of the uh, old archive, old dated archive that we are creating, it will match the start date of this archive like this. As you can see, the end date of the end time of this archive is the start time for this archive, right? So similar way, the end time for the older archive should be the start time of this archive. But I want to do one more thing. So that is the reason I am like not intentionally keeping the space. Okay. So I will click no. And it will create a number of archives on the basis of that. Okay. Right. So this is the reason for which I have explicitly said that I will just keep that gap. So as you can see, archive has started creating from 1st of January 2022 and it is 0% filled. It is keeping the time range of like 28 days, like that is 4 weeks, and it will create till the time we have specified, right? So let it do its work. So what I was saying is, if there is a gap between any archive, that means there is no archive for this time duration. So it will show you as an archive gap. Okay. So if you will put any value for that time period, it will not go into the archive. It will not store that value. It may give you error that the archive is not available for this time duration and your data will not go into archive for that time duration because there is no archive available for that time duration. So in this case, you can use similar way, the way we have did it right now. And this is once in a blue moon chance. It happens if your archive got corrupted, got deleted automatically because of some malfunction. Right? As I said, it is once in a blue moon. If you your server got crashed, right? And you are trying to restore the server, you are trying to recreate the server, and then you are installing a new server and taking the backup and restoring it. So in that case also, there is a possibility of this archive gap. Okay.
अभी मुझे क्लियर नहीं हुआ. What is the purpose of creating these archives in 28 days gap? इसका जो आप create किया, इसका purpose क्या था?
Look, the gap is not something that is relevant. Means like you can keep gap on the basis of how much amount of data you will be backfilling. But the purpose of creating old archive is if you want, now you have installed your Pi server, right?
Right.
Suppose you are installing a new Pi server, but earlier you were having some other historian. Yes. Like AspenTech, or suppose your Wonderware, do your Wonderware store the data? Yes. Yeah. So it is another historian, right? Yeah. But now you want to use those data, like whatever data is in that particular historian or any other database. So suppose you were having some DCS system earlier, and you write a code to pull the data from OPC on a certain time duration and put that data in an Oracle system or any other database where the data is available for a certain time duration, which is older than the Pi server installation. So suppose we have installed Pi server now, but you have older data. So if you will try to push that data into the Pi system, it will not take that data because the timestamp for that data is older than the available archive. Okay. So as I said, when you pass a data, so it will always go on the archive for which the time duration fall in between. So if this archive has the time duration 5th of December to 20th of December, this time. So whatever data will come with the timestamp falls between these start date and end date, that data will go into that archive. Okay, right now all these are blank archives. Yeah, these are blank archives. As you can see, it is 0% filled. Okay. So if you want to push the backdated data in the Pi server, because why we are installing the Pi server, we want to centralize our data. We want to get everything on one place, right? And you really don't want to play like your old data is at one place, then your new data is at one place, and you want to see it or you want to use it, then it will be a mess, or you will be just shuffling between those two systems. So you really don't want to do that. So in this case, you can just push all your old information in the new Pi server by creating old archives with the old dates. So now we have created the old archive, and whenever we'll push the information in this archive, it will take that value. So suppose we don't have any archive between 3rd of December to the 5th of December. And what we will do, we will just create one Pi point. Okay. Test archive, and it will be it's fine. I really don't want to put anything here. I will just create this tag with no formatting, data, archive editor. This is my tag, right? With point created or current date, right? And I want to put the data here for star minus 4 days and save that. Okay. And I will just check 10 days old values, and you can see, so star minus 4 days, the value is entered here. Okay. So let's put 30 days 20 days. Okay. So star minus 4 days is 16th of December, right? We need to go 11, 12 days back further. So I will just put another value for 66, like for star minus
15 days.
15 days, right? So 15 days, and I will try to, sorry, I will try to save that value. Okay, and refresh. So it went on 5th, but we should have done it star minus 14 days. Okay. So again, 100 I am putting star minus 14 days. Okay. And I will click on save and I will see. Oh, sorry, not 14, 16 days. My mistake. Yeah. So 999 star minus 16 days. Okay. And when I will click on save, the value is not there, right?
Right.
Again, I will do same thing, star minus 17 days, and I will click on save. Again, I will check. Again, the value is not there. But when I will do star minus 18 days and save time. Oh, sorry. So star minus 18 days, and I will click on save. Now you can see, okay? So on 2nd, there is a value, on 5th, there is a value, but from 3rd, 0, like 12, 1 AM or like 1st, 2nd, the archive is offline, means there is no archive. Okay, so archive is not available. Archive is not available. So not necessary that archive is not created itself, but the archive is not mapped here. Okay, similar way, I will show you. So though we have created this archive, so 22nd of April, if I will unregister this archive, okay, if I will unregister this archive, refresh it, it will also show the archive gap. Though the archive is available on the what do you say, on the disk, but we need to make sure that that archive is registered. So it is 22nd, this one. Okay, so we will open it and it will be registered. We will refresh it. And that archive is back. Okay, so what it is saying, so it don't know really if the archive is not created itself or the archive is not registered. So in our case, we know the archive is not created itself. So what we need to do, we will just create a new archive. So it will automatically take this time duration. Okay, and we will click OK. So it is a fixed size archive with that time duration. Okay, so there are two different ways. We created multiple archive for the backfilling, and then we created fixed size archive, right, for this particular time period. So what are the difference between these two? As you can see, this archive has created with the size of 1 GB, which is our standard size we have defined, right?
Right.
But all these archives has created with 0 GB size or 0 MB size, right? So what is the difference? So actual difference is, now though this archive don't have any value, but this file will consume 1 GB on the disk.
Yes.
But all these files, they don't have any size. So the size will increase as data will go in those files for that time duration. So which will save your disk space, because you are not sure how much data will go in these files, right?
Right.
So you really don't want to occupy all these files and give a fixed size, uh, like like fixed archive size. So file size will be fixed 1 GB. So it will just occupy your disk space, but no data will be there in that file, right? Similar way, we saw on another system, though this particular file network. What is slow? Okay, so though this particular file is filled only 59%, but it is still occupying the 512 MB on the disk. So it is just an empty box in your space. That's it. It is not having any data. So you really don't want your space to be filled with those kind of empty boxes.
So backfilling के टाइम में अगर एक archive का data size is more than 1 GB, then what will happen?
It will expand it. It will
It will
expand size
expand.
accordingly.
Okay.
So I will also show you same thing here. There must be few archives. There must be few archives with the size more than whatever is assigned to it.
512 MB.
So in this case, okay. So in this case, as you can see, there is this, we may have created it forcefully. So these files, though these files are not containing that much of data, but it is consuming total 512. But as you can see, every file has stopped filling the data at 98%. Why? Because they have kept the possibility of backfilling some data or recalculating some data, some amount of data. So they have kept that space. Okay. So if this percent, like you will see, there is no, like, it is 99% everywhere, right? But for these files, it has filled 99% only, but it has increased the file size, as you can see. So it is not like 101, 102%. These files are containing more data than 512, but it has automatically resized the archive file.
Okay. Yes.
Right? So it
Right.
is not that it is rewriting on the same file and all, right? Because
Right.
it is backfilled data, so it will always resize your file accordingly. Same way, these files will got resized as and when the data will go inside those files.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other question?
No.
Okay. So now, as you can see, what Saurabh was asking is about backup, right? So as you can see here, when an automatic backup take place, it always check if these files are backed up, and that entry is got done here. So when the backup will be taken, one entry will go into your files, means wherever is the all this information is getting stored inside the configuration files, that which archive is backed up at what time, like last when it is backed up, and it will always check if that archive has changed since then. So this is the last backed up and this is the last change. So as you can see, last backed up on 20th, but this is last changed here. Okay. So if the archive is changed since the last backup date, then and then only it will copy that archive again into the backup file. So if the archive is not changed since last backup, it will not copy. So now there is one catch. If you like your daily backup is getting done at your backup folder, right? Suppose you have a backup folder here somewhere we have created, right? So suppose your backup folder is we created it on C only. Yeah. So this is your backup folder, right? So suppose your backup folder is created and there was 8, 10 files or 100 files, archive files I'm talking about, which are backed up. I will give example on the actual server only. So suppose, as you can see, this is a backup date. I will just sort it by start time and end time. Okay, so as you can see, this is the backed update and this is the last change date. Okay, so when you will see backups here, you will get to know when and what backup has done. Okay, so if all these files are backed up inside the folder, which is located somewhere here. Just give me a minute. Okay, get someone on door. Just give me a minute.
अनिमेश हो कि चले गए?
ये 1 मिनट ब्रेक लिए।
अच्छा अच्छा रचित है हुआ था चाटने लग गया उधर आके मैं मिस कर
सॉरी
गया
गाइस,
था।
और एक मिनट देना मुझे, मैं कुकीज
हाँ अरे आप ले लो, आप 5 मिनट ले लो, मैं 5 मिनट में अभी थोड़ा आता हूँ, ठीक है?
हाँ ठीक है, ओके।
मेरा भी थोड़ा काम है, मैं 5 मिनट में आता हूँ।
ये बैकअप वाला ना अनिमेश एक बार फिर से एक बार थोड़ा स्टार्ट करना, ठीक है? वो बीच में कोई आ गया था, मैं मिस कर गया। म्यूट है तुम्हारा शायद।
Yeah, right. So what I was talking about is there is another point that you really need to take care of, that this backup of any archive. So it is not like that every day 3:15 a.m. your system will not take backup of all the files. Okay, it will only take the backup of files which has changed since last backup. Okay, and to do that, it will not go onto the backup folder and cross check it with the current archive. It will not do like that. So when your backup will be taken, for each file, there is a date stored inside the system when the last backup is taken for that file. Okay, and this date, the last modified date, will be checked with that file where the date information is available for the last backup. So if your backup is done on like 14th and your file is not changed since then, new backup will not be taken for that file. But if this file is removed from the backup folder, which is in our case this, so if I delete any of the file, the old backup file, I delete it from here, it will not take the backup again for that particular file. You need to take care of that because you deleted it from there. But for that entry, for that archive, the entry is the latest backup is already available because the entry is there that okay, the file is changed on 13th and on 14th the backup is taken. Though that backup is deleted from the disk, it will not take the backup for that file. So you need to make sure that all the backup files are available. So on every certain time period, like once in a month or once in 2 weeks, something like that, you need to go, you need to check if all the archives are available here, right? So you need to cross check if the number of files in my archive folder or
Is same as the backup.
yeah, so number of files, so it is 2078, right? Excluding these two items, it will be 2076, right? Exactly double to the number of archive, right? So in this case, there may be some other files or some less files here. Okay, but you need to make sure that number of files here or number of archive files are exactly matching in your backed up archive file. Okay, so it is exactly double to our archive file, right? So we have 10773. So it is exactly double to our number of archives.
So
Okay.
what if we delete it from the backup and then there is a modification in that file, so it will add that incremental backup?
Then it will back up that file because it has changed since last backup date.
Okay. So it will take the entire backup in that case.
Not entire. So suppose my this like 100, this number 100 archive has changed because I have put some value at that date. Okay. Suppose I have put some value at that date. So my this archive has changed. So only this archive will get backed up. As you can see, as you can see, these archive has got backed up on 3rd of November, right? But only this archive got backed up on like
11th of November.
yeah. So this is the
So 12th.
modified date. Yeah, 12th of November. So this is the case. Only this archive got backed up because only changes is done inside this particular archive.
No, that's fine. Let's suppose this file got deleted from the backup. Okay.
Yeah.
That particular selected file got deleted from the backup.
Yeah.
Now next time when it will get backed up, let's suppose that it got modified and it is supposed to get backed up. That particular file, only that particular file. So will it take the incremental backup, or like what has changed from the previous backup to the last modified date, or it will take the entire backup, like the entire backup
yeah,
file?
I'm getting your point. I'm getting your point. Look, this is a file. It don't work like, okay, it will open your one file, it will open your another file, it will check what is the difference and it will copy only the different part, right? It don't work that way. It will copy your entire file always.
Okay.
When you copy, suppose you do a change in one Word file and that Word file copies are on another place. So you don't do go and copy only the part you have changed in a Word file and then copy it there. You always copy entire Word file, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So it will always copy entire file, not only that particular information.
So is it also possible that let's suppose I delete this particular line item from the backup, and can I just copy it from the archive and put it over there, including, but that annotation file will be missing. So but
No,
is it possible?
I didn't get your point.
So let's suppose this is the archive file, right? So
Yeah.
from the backup, I am deleting this line item.
Right.
Okay. Now I want to get back this archive file, because this is an old dated file and it won't get modified, like it won't get modified because that's a very old that's a very old file. So can I just copy it from the archive and put it in the backup?
Yes, you can just copy it from the archive folder. Okay, so this is your archive folder, right? So you can just copy that file and the respective annotation file for that file.
Okay.
In your backup folder and it will work.
Okay.
Okay. So this is about the archives, and I think we have taken care of almost all the points here. Okay. So let me know if you have any particular question about any particular
like if that's possible, that अगर मैं बैकअप से लेके अगर फिर से मैं आर्काइव में पुट कर सकता हूँ, मतलब जैसे हम लोगों ने भी स्टार्टिंग में देखा ना, आर्काइव से अगर कोई डीरजिस्टर करना है फाइल या हटाना है फाइल हमको, तो आप बोले कि मैं कोई दूसरा फोल्डर में रखूंगा, तो मैं वो नहीं रख के मैं अगर इसको कंप्लीटली इसको रिमूव भी कर देता हूँ, और अगर मुझे कभी फ्यूचर में अगर कभी मेरे को जरूरत पड़े तो मेरे पास तो बैकअप का कोई भी, मैं बैकअप एक ओपन करके उसका मैं आर्काइव से जिस डेट का चाहिए मैं उसको फिर यहाँ पे रजिस्टर कर सकता हूँ।
हाँ।
तो फिर इसके लिए मुझे अलग से ये जो आर्काइव को मैनेज करने का तो फिर जरूरत नहीं है कि भाई इस ईयर से लास्ट 2 इयर्स का मैं डेटा को, मतलब आउट ऑफ लास्ट 10 इयर्स मैं लास्ट मतलब सबसे एक्सट्रीम लास्ट जो 2 इयर्स है उसका डेटा को मैं डिलीट कर देता हूँ आर्काइव से, पूरा हटा देता हूँ। और अगर कभी मुझे जरूरत पड़े तो फिर अगर किसी को कभी एनालिसिस करने का या कुछ जरूरत पड़े तो उस समय मैं बैकअप से ही, बैकअप का जो आर्काइव है वहां से मैं पुल करके और इसमें रजिस्टर कर दूंगा, तो फिर ये भी तो पॉसिबल।
हाँ वही वो भी तो पॉसिबल है ना, मैं वो नहीं बोल रहा हूँ। लेकिन क्या है, आपका जो बैकअप आप मैनेज कर रहे हो ना, तो आप आपका बैकअप कैसे मैनेज कर रहे हो ना, उसका बहुत फर्क पड़ता है। जैसे आपका बैकअप कहाँ पे, आप आपका बैकअप लोकली मैनेज कर रहे हो या आप आपका बैकअप रिमोट बैकअप सर्वर पे मैनेज कर रहे हो, इट रियली मेक डिफरेंस। ओके सो सपोज आप आपका जो बैकअप है वो रिमोट बैकअप सर्वर पे मैनेज कर रहे हो, तो उसमें आप FTP करते हो, राइट? तो आप जब FTP करते हो तो आप चेक करते हो कि मेरा ये जो बैकअप फोल्डर है, मतलब 99% ऑफ टाइम पाई का बैकअप कैसे होता है मैं बताता हूँ आपको। देयर इज वन लोकल बैकअप व्हिच वी टेक एवरी डे 315, ओके? देन देयर इज अ स्क्रिप्ट or there is a anything XYZ is written to copy this backup folder. So in our case, this particular folder is our backup folder. Okay. So we copy this backup folder on a backup drive or a backup server on a certain, like every certain time period, like 2 days, or every week, every Sunday or something like that. Okay, or once in a month. We take this secondary backup to a backup server. Mostly they do every day, but sometimes they really don't want to do that much. So they do it every one, like 2 day, once in every 2 day or once in a week. So they copy this backup on a backup server. In that case, what they do, they compare this backup with the source. And if you have deleted the folder or you have deleted the file from the archive, right? And you have deleted this file from the backup, the local backup also. In that case, your backup server will not have that file also, because it will sync with this folder and it will also delete the file from that folder. You got me? Look, suppose I will just show you on PowerPoint. So this is your server. Okay. And this is your data archive folder. Sorry. This is your data archive folder. And then you will be having exactly same backup folder, right? But now, suppose you are willing to reduce the disk space consumption and you are deleting the old, files. Right? So you are deleting those old files. Now you have deleted it from here. If you keep it here, then what will happen? It will still consume the disk space for the backup. Okay. But like it is not in archive folder only. It is not in archive drive, but it is in backup drive. In this case, if you copy it on a secondary backup server, okay. So this is your secondary backup server where you are copying these files from the backup folder. Then you will copy entire folder of backup, right? And you will keep it in sync. So your synchronization will be like you will be syncing it with this. But in this case, if you are keeping synchronization fully, then what will happen? If you will delete these two files also from here, okay? If you will delete these two files also from here, it will get deleted from here also, right? If it is in full sync, like you are just matching exactly what is here, then in this case, it will delete from here also. If you are only taking, again, if you are only taking the incremental backup, like whatever is changed, if you are only taking that backup and you are not deleting any old file from here, okay, in this case, it will remain same. So you need to make sure what type of backup you are taking, and when you are deleting the archive, are you deleting it from the archive folder and backup folder both, or only from archive folder? So these are some scenarios you need to keep in mind when you are doing your backup. Because if it is in full sync, then you will lose it from here also. Then you will not be having that backup anywhere. So if it is in full sync, it is suggested when you are deleting it from here, make sure you make a separate copy of it.
So when it gets deleted from the archive, will it automatically deletes from the backup as well?
No.
Or we have to explicitly go and delete that as well?
Yes.
Like if it is.
Yeah, you need to explicitly go and delete it.
Okay, so if I don't it's not going to happen accidentally, right? It's until unless somebody goes and delete both in archive and backup both.
Right. Obviously. But suppose you are thinking that, okay, no problem, I will delete from here, I will delete it from here because I have one copy. Right? But
Yeah,
you are not
but these
sure
two
that.
are syncing.
Yeah, you are not sure what is the exact mechanism they are using, right?
So how this FTP setup is being done for this for the syncing of these two backup folders?
Yeah, it is different way. Like in my case, in AVTP case, what they are doing, they are not even doing this FTP. What they are doing, they are taking entire VM backup every time. So in that case, I will lose those files for sure.
Yeah.
So that is the point. So you need to consider your mechanism. You need to make sure whatever mechanism you are using, you will have those files available.
Got it.
So every company has their own different mechanism, right? They follow different type of protocols. They follow different type of backup systems. Maybe they are using only a hard drive. They are using a backup server. So multiple conditions are there. So you need to consider all those conditions in this case. Okay.
Yeah.
Any question? Any question about anything else? Because look, we are almost done. There are only few things about the interface and the server redundancy. I tried it doing today, but I'm not able to fix that issue on my system. So I need to reinstall the secondary. Actually, I'm using VM. So that is the main problem.
इसका लाइसेंस का भी तो शायद 20 तक ही था ना?
हाँ नहीं, मैंने वो फिक्स किया है एक दूसरे इससे, लेकिन वो भी चलेगा नहीं चलेगा, उससे इशू आएगा कुछ तो पता नहीं. But yeah, my system will be available. Those two I am not sure about. Okay. So
आप एक फाइल शेयर करने वाले थे जो डॉक्यूमेंट यूजर्स का.
हाँ, वो मैनुअल में शेयर करता हूँ ना आपको आज. आज या कल में मैं आपको आपके 4 मैनुअल से मेनली. एक है आपका इंस्टॉलेशन का मैनुअल, एक है AF का मैनुअल, एक है पाइविजन एंड डेटा लिंक का मैनुअल, और एक है एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर का मैनुअल. तो उसमें भी मेनली सब सेम चीजें वापस रहती है. बट या those 4 different you can say training materials I will share with you. ठीक है. और आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट टुमारो, क्योंकि मोस्टली सारा सिलेबस हमने कंप्लीट कर लिया है. अगर मैं आज चारों VM मेरी फिक्स कर पाता हूँ, so I will just like ping you both and we can connect tomorrow. Okay. Or if you have, like, you can use, I will just keep both the VM running. You can just work on that. And any question you have, if you want to connect tomorrow, we can connect tomorrow. Else, then you can just do your like whatever research you want to do. You can come with your ideas. You can come with your use cases, and we can connect after 26. Okay.
Okay.
आपको कोई भी डाउट हो आप बिंदास कॉल कीजिए. भले ही घर पे
ठीक है।
शादी है, लेकिन
ठीक
आई
है।
विल बी
नहीं नहीं,
एबल टू।
शादी में आपको डिस्टर्ब नहीं करेंगे। आप
आफ्टर
आराम से
26
एंजॉय करो। आफ्टर 26 मिलते हैं, ठीक है।
नहीं, अगर कल कल ये देखो, कल मैं अवेलेबल हूँ, मतलब ऐसे नहीं कि कल मैं अवेलेबल नहीं हूँ, कल मेरे पास कुछ काम है नहीं एज सच। लेकिन मेरे पास, अगर मेरे सर्वर फिक्स होते हैं दोनों, क्योंकि क्या है, ये बहुत पुराना मेरा सिस्टम था जिसमें मैंने 5 वीएम्स बना के रखी है। तो
अच्छा अच्छा
वो सिस्टम मैंने खुद जमाने से चालू नहीं किया था। एक डेस्कटॉप है मेरा सर्वर सिस्टम।
अच्छा
तो
अच्छा।
वो खुद मैंने जमाने से चालू नहीं किया था, तो मैंने आज चालू किया वो। तो उसमें से एक सर्वर का वीएम ठीक से काम कर रहा था, दूसरा नहीं काम कर रहा था। तो दूसरा मुझे एक कॉपी बनाया है मैंने नया वापस, लेकिन उस पर इंस्टॉलेशन वगैरह करके उसको रेडी करना पड़ेगा। तो वही
अच्छा, आप
है।
जो बोलते हैं कि आपका वीएम अवेलेबल रहेगा, तो मतलब नेक्स्ट मंथ भी अवेलेबल रहेगा आपका वीएम? मान के चलिए कि
इफ यू वांट आई कैन
प्रैक्टिस।
कीप इट ऑन, बट मुझे देखना पड़ेगा उसका कितना मुझे चार्जेस लग रहा है, लेकिन हाँ, आई कैन डू इट, नो इशू या।
ओके।
अगर आपको ट्राई करना है, आपको कुछ भी करना है, तो ना वो वीएम पे भी कर सकते हो। यू कैन जस्ट, आई विल जस्ट क्रिएट your trust and you can directly access from your system, so you really don't need to take the remote. हाँ, अगर रिमोट लेके कुछ करना है आपको डिफरेंटली तो मुझे बताओ, या फिर आप सारा एसएमटी तो आपके सिस्टम से यूज कर सकते हो, एएफ आपके सिस्टम से यूज कर सकते हो। यू कैन क्रिएट योर सेपरेट डेटाबेसेस एंड यू कैन वर्क ऑन दैट,
ओके।
so it will be available, no problem.
ठीक है। हम लोग एक्चुअली 26 के बाद जैसे कुछ-कुछ हम लोग जो कंडीशन मॉनिटरिंग हो गया, ठीक है? जैसे कोई इक्विपमेंट्स है, हम लोग कैसे एक टोटलाइज़र्स का वैल्यू को कैसे टोटलाइज़र्स कैसे यू बना सकते हैं? फिर हम लोग कैसे उसका कंडीशन मॉनिटरिंग कैसे कर सकते हैं? ये सब कुछ-कुछ चीज़ें हम लोग 20 से अभी नहीं, 26 से ये जो हम देखे अभी तक, तो हमने यूज़र्स और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ये वाला पार्ट देखा। बट रियल यूज जैसे हम लोग का जो मेन इंटेंशन है कि जैसे हम लोग रिपोर्टिंग हो गया, एंड देन आपका ये कंडीशन मॉनिटरिंग, कैसे कोई इक्विपमेंट का है, कोई पर्टिकुलर प्रोसेस को कैसे हम लोग मॉनिटर कर सकते हैं, ठीक है? वो पार्ट पे हम लोग थोड़ा फोकस करते हैं 26 के बाद कुछ दिन।
चलेगा चलेगा, यू कैन कम विथ योर यूज केस, वी विल वर्क ऑन दैट।
ठीक है, क्योंकि अभी तक ऐसे तो समझ में आ गया, बट देखना है कि वो जैसे हम लोग पीएलसी में क्या है ना, कि हमारे पास वो पूरा कंट्रोल रहता है कि हम लोग कैसे मतलब चीजों को कैसे इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे। बट अभी तक पाई में कि कैसे कंडीशन मॉनिटरिंग से कोई बिट आ रहा है, तो वो हम कैसे उसका काउंट्स को कैसे काउंट करते रहेंगे, या फिर नंबर ऑफ आवर्स को कैसे मैनेज करेंगे, कि अगर नंबर ऑफ आवर्स इतना क्रॉस कर गया तो फिर ट्रिगर कैसे करेंगे। वो सब चीजें मतलब अभी तक तो हमने एनालिटिक्स में बस वन लाइनर्स वाले देखे हैं, बट अगर कुछ बड़ा कोड जिसमें हम लोग को डेटा उसको मतलब ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड टाइप थोड़ा-सा अगर
नहीं
देख
तो मैं,
पाएँगे।
क्या करते हैं आप, सिंपली
हुँ,
आपके
हुँ।
पास 5-6 दिन है, राइट?
हुँ, हुँ।
सो यू बी रेडी विथ ऑल योर कैलकुलेशंस, सारे फॉर्मूलाज जो आपके, या फिर जो मल्टी लेवल कंडीशंस आपको डालनी है,
हुँ, हुँ।
इधर इफ दिस इज हैपनिंग देन दिस, देन इफ दिस इज हैपनिंग देन दैट। सो इसका इस तरीके की जो सारी कंडीशंस है, मेक
हाँ,
श्योर
हाँ।
यू हैव इट हैंडी व्हेन
ओके,
वी विल लुक इनटू दैट, व्हेन वी विल इम्प्लीमेंट दैट। ओके?
ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है।
तो
ओके,
वो टाइम पे क्या है वो टाइम पे क्या है, सब रेडी रहेगा तो इजीली हम सारे एनालिसिस इंप्लीमेंट कर पाएंगे।
ठीक है।
एंड इवन यू कैन सेंड इट टू मी बिफोर हैंड कि अगर आप चाहते हो तो उस तरीके का मैं डेटा भी रेडी करके रख सकता हूँ, या मोस्टली तो मैं कल परसों आपको जो मेरा सिस्टम है उस पर डेटा अवेलेबल करके दे दूंगा। तो
ठीक है।
आप डेटा लिंक के रिपोर्ट्स वगैरह, या फिर कुछ ट्रेंड करके देखना है पाईविजन पे वगैरह, तो वो
हाँ,
भी
वो
करके
अगर
देख
वो
सकते हैं।
अच्छा होगा अगर आपके पास, हाँ, आपके पास अगर डेटा सेट होगा, तो उसपे हम लोग प्ले कर सकते हैं कि भाई इसको कैसे करना है, वो अच्छा रहेगा। और हम और तापस मिलके एक दिन बैठ के, अभी जैसे आप तो रहोगे नहीं, तो हम लोग कल या परसों एक दिन बैठ के सुबह को इसी टाइमिंग में डिस्कस कर लेंगे कि हमारे यूज़ केसेस कौन-कौन से पे हम लोग काम करेंगे। ठीक है
चलेगा
तापस?
चलेगा।
ठीक है।
हुँ,
Okay. तो
ठीक है।
99% we will be connecting tomorrow, 99%. Okay.
ओके,
I
ठीक
will
है।
fix my system today.
ओके,
99% we will connect tomorrow. अगर नहीं होता है मेरा सिस्टम फिक्स, then
Okay.
we need to do it after 26. Okay.
ठीक है बट ये आप दिमाग में रखिएगा कि मतलब ये बस हम लोग ट्रेनिंग करके इसको भूल मत जाइएगा। वो जो हम लोग डिस्कस किए थे
हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
इसको
अरे
है
फुल्ली
ना,
फुल्ली।
उस पे बात
अरे
करते हैं
एक
उस
बार
पे।
आप भूल जाओगे लेकिन मैं नहीं भूलूंगा, क्योंकि अभी क्या है,
अच्छा।
मेरे दिमाग में वही चल रहा है। मैं बोला ना आपको फ्रीलांसिंग करना है वगैरह, बहुत हो गया भाई कंपनी के लिए काम करना, थक गया हूँ।
हम्म। हाँ, नहीं सही
तो
जगह पे यूज करके तो अच्छा चीज हो
नहीं, और
पाएगा कुछ।
मे बी वो भी कर सकते हैं, मतलब आप अगर डायरेक्टली भी मेरे साथ बाकी बाद में इसके बाद कुछ करना चाहोगे,
हाँ हाँ।
मतलब TSMC, देन वी
हम्म।
कैन आल्सो थिंक अबाउट दैट, बट आई रियली डोंट वांट टू डू इट राइट अवे, क्योंकि क्या है, अभी तो मैं अतुल सर के साथ ही ये कर रहा हूँ।
हम्म।
सो वो नहीं, मैं रिलेशन खराब करना चाहता हूँ,
हाँ
तो
हाँ।
नहीं, जब मैं खुद का कुछ चालू करूंगा तो फिर देखेंगे।
हाँ हाँ। ठीक है।
ओके।
ओके।
ओके
ओके फाइन। तो
ओके।
यू कैन जस्ट पुट ऑल मैसेजेस, आई विल
ठीक
बी
है।
रेडी। अगर आप आज भी कुछ, अभी तपस के पास टाइम है आज भी 2 घंटा, तो अगर तपस करना चाहते हैं सिस्टम पे कुछ, तो आई विल कीप द सिस्टम रनिंग, एंड यू जस्ट लेट मी नो इफ देयर इज एनी प्रॉब्लम। ओके।
हाँ हाँ, आप मुझे मेरा सिस्टम ऑन रखिए।
ओके चलेगा। ओके
ठीक है फिर।
फाइन।
ओके।
या थैंक यू।
बाय
बाय।